Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars, welcome to another PlayStation review. Today's review is for the detective game Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot, The First Cases. Available on PlayStation 4, but also playable on PlayStation 5, and all the footage you are seeing is from my PlayStation 5. Now, before we get into the meat of this review, I just want to do a quick shout out, and this is for a channel called The Critically Clueless. I will leave a link in the description below to this channel. This is a channel that I've had links with now for probably over a year. And it's a gaming channel, a really fantastic gaming channel. It does a lot of great reviews, great content, and is growing ever faster. So please, guys, head over there and show your support to this great channel. Now back to the review today. Now, Hercule Poirot, The First Cases. I don't think it's any coincidence that this game has been released just before a new Sherlock Holmes game is due to appear on consoles in about 3 or 4 weeks' time. There is a Sherlock Holmes game that focuses on the early career of Sherlock Holmes, as well as this game focuses on the early career of Hercule Poirot. Now, essentially, this game is split into chapters. Nothing unusual about that. You are initially right at the beginning of the career of Hercule Poirot. And you were invited to investigate a family with blackmail, deceit, and eventually murder. And I won't spoil any of the cases in case you guys want to dive in there and play this game. Now, I am a fan of detective games. They are actually amongst my favourite type of games. I really, really love the Sherlock Holmes games. I love LA Noire, which is a great detective game. And I really enjoyed the other Hercule Poirot game, the ABC Murders, that I've also covered on this channel. Is this game on par with that one? Well, I'll be absolutely honest, guys. No, it just isn't. This game, I have to say, is a bit of a crippling disappointment from my perspective. There's too much wrong with this game for me to wholeheartedly recommend it, which is a real shame. The first fault that we have here, I think, is the price. It's priced at $34.99, which I think is incredibly pricey for the game that you get. It should have been at least £10 cheaper, certainly in the UK, and that would have made it a more of a reasonable price for sure. The other issues that I have with this game, and there are a lot of issues, it's really linear, and it's point and click adventure gaming at its most simplest, and essentially the levels or the chapters work in a very similar way. You walk around the environment, you click on all the clues that you can find in that environment, and then you talk to every character you could talk to in each environment in order to solve that mystery before you can move on to the next. And once you've exhausted all the clues by finding all the clues in the environment and speaking to all the characters, you then open up something called a mind map. And then you have to basically link all the clues together. Now, those of you who play detective games, that will sound very familiar. We see these mind maps in a lot of detective games. It's you could argue, an overused mechanic now. But the way the mind map works here is wildly out of sync. There will be some clues that will obviously link together, and the idea is you will see a clue, and then there'll be other clues that you've uncovered, or through conversations, or through finding them in the environment, and you have to link them together to make a connection between them, and you will make that deduction then. Some of them are very simple to figure out, and you know what links to the other, and you feel pretty badass when you do that. You feel pretty clever. And then there are other clues where there does not seem to be any logical link to the eventual outcome, and you will find yourself literally linking every clue to every clue to try and make a connection, because you just cannot figure it out. It makes you feel really stupid, this game, when it should make you feel like a fantastically intelligent detective. And it's really frustrating, because you'll get to the point where you give up trying to link some of the clues together, because they don't make any sense. So you will link clues to other clues just in the hope that you will make a link accidentally, and no detective game should work like that. There's very little exploration involved, other than I've said, wandering around the environment, clicking on clues, and that's it really. They're pretty uninspired environments. You know, you'll get gardens, outdoors, indoor buildings, or mansions, the usual kind of thing. There is no hint system in place here, whereas from memory anyway, certainly the ABC murders had a hint system in place that you could employ. That would give you a little heavy or gentle or heavy nudge in the right direction in regards to solving a clue. You don't get any luxury with that here, which is an added frustration. So it feels like a real slog to progress through this game. There is essentially, it's fully voice acted, this game, and you will spend much of your time talking to characters. And thankfully, the voice acting is of a good quality, so which does help the game. And there will be occasionally some characters where you need to lower their guard because their defences might be up. So you will have to go down a certain line of questioning. You might have to be a little bit more cautious with some characters than others. But it kind of warns you what direction you need to take when questioning that character. So it's not really much of a challenge. It's fairly obvious what questions you should be asking and in what order. And yeah, it's just, unfortunately, a bit of a disappointment, this game. I have to say, I've really tried to enjoy it. The first prologue section of the game, it starts off pretty positively, and you're thinking, yeah, I think I might enjoy this one, and then it gets to the point where you start having to link clues together that don't make any sense, and there is no logical reason why that one clue should link to another, and you just find yourself sick of looking in the mind map and trying to link clues together, and it really spoils the game. And it's supposed to be a detective game, but you don't really feel like much of a detective, unfortunately, which is a real shame. I think it's a bit of a misfire, this game. So fans of Hercule Poirot or detective games in general, if you're desperate to get this game, I would definitely suggest waiting for a sale. I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 10. I was desperately disappointed with it, and if I'm being particularly honest, even though it does look the part and it's a pretty game to look at, it's a bit of an empty shell inside when you examine it a little bit closer. So a little bit of a disappointment. So I hope you found this review useful, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I will be back with more reviews and content on the channel very soon.